So what a run day looked like for me was a committed day of work. Not 4 appointments, I'm gonna go do this in the middle of the day or go do that, in the evening time. Like, it was 8 to 8 o'clock for me. It was gonna be really weird for me to come home before Michaela got home when she was working a corporate job at 5 o'clock. So that was my #1 goal. I'm not gonna ever be home when she gets home. So at least it looks like I'm working, you know what I mean? But what it really allowed me to do was allow me to door knock. Door knock led me to where I am today. So if you have any of these hesitations in your mind, what door knock allowed me to do is it allowed me to get uncomfortable, because it's not comfortable walking up to a stranger's door, your heart's beating, hands are sweaty, you don't know what they're gonna say. There's a beware of the dog or no trespassing sign, so your heart's beating even faster. But when you're in the uncomfort zone is when you grow the most. If you guys understand that, you should look forward to opportunities when you're uncomfortable. Like Paul asked me today, what was the last thing that made you nervous? I said, this podcast that we're doing right now. Like, I always get nervous. My hands are sweaty right now with you guys. I know my hands are always gonna be sweaty when I'm speaking in front of people. I'll never be able to change that. I've just got comfortable being uncomfortable. So what door knocking allowed me to do is work on my communication skills. A lot of you guys may struggle on the phones with people hanging up on you. That's not allowing you to get better at communicating. What will allow you to get better at communicating is a 2-minute conversation, a 5-minute conversation, a 10-minute conversation at the door. Because 1, now you're a human, and 2, people are actually a lot nicer in person. The person who's cussing you out over the phone is probably gonna offer you a piece of pie out the door after you help them with their life insurance. So don't generalize these people off of a phone call. So many times people hung up the phone cussing me out, and I showed up at their house and they're actually really nice. I was like, okay, I'm understanding this. They're getting bombarded with phone calls. I actually took the time to get out there and show them I'm a human being and I actually care about their family. And even if they told me no, I at least got to have a conversation back and forth, which allowed me to increase my communication skills. And this is a communication business. So door knocking saved my business and allows me to speak with you guys today. So don't think you're too big or too small to do the little things that matter. If you're not getting the results you want over the phone, you can make up with the activity in the field. I promise you guys, there's no better way to sell life insurance than in person. We're doing all these telesale things, virtual sales, all these different approaches of doing things over the phone. But if you're new and you want to do that, no, you're going to have to buy more leads. You're going to have to dial the phone longer, because you're going to have to learn how to overcome those objections when all they have to do is hit the red button and then you're dead in the water. So if you're new, I highly suggest for you to get out in the field and to protect families in the field, because you're going to be able to get 2 or 3 no's in the home and still be sitting at the table. Whereas if you do it over the phone, it's the red button and you're dead in the water, number blocked, and you're like, man, I almost had them. But if you were in the home, you could actually overcome some objections, so then you know how to overcome those objections on the phone. Does that all make sense to you guys? Okay, cool. So I just made a conscious decision on run days that I was gonna go out in the field and work. That's it. That's what a run day looked like to me. I was gonna be out all day. I eliminated all these different distractions in my life. I love Sports Center and I'm a sports fanatic, but I understood quickly that I could make the type of money these athletes are making. So why would I waste my time watching them do their craft when I could spend that time mastering my craft? And so I gave that up. I gave up listening to music in the car. The reason why the field was so effective for me at the beginning is because it was car university for me. It was podcast after podcast, training after training. It was phone call after phone call in between those downtimes. I couldn't tell you the amount of times I dialed in alleys, parking lots, on the side of the street, just to keep working, to keep getting better. This is just a repetition type of business. So as far as scheduling goes, that's what Tuesday and Wednesday would look like for me when I was new. And it sounds like a lot of you guys are new, and that's all duplicatable actions that you all can take. It's just a choice that you guys have to make. And so utilize that windshield time with the different podcasts. And then Thursday is the same thing. We're starting right back over. And when my business changed, guys, is when I got out of my apartment and I started going to the office. There wasn't an office when I first got started, so I didn't have that luxury. You know what sucks really, really bad? Could anybody guess? Dialing the phone alone. Because it's like, all these different things can pop up in your mind. But when you're here and you see this guy get hung up on, and then this guy's dialing the phone, and this guy's in his intro, what do you want to do? You want to keep dialing the phone. So be in an environment, immerse yourself into an environment where you can get better every single week. I started looking forward to going to the office because I could get around Rob Richmond. I could get around Jesse Parley. And these dudes were Hall of Fame producers. So why would I not try to get myself into that circle? I earned his respect in time by showing up every single Monday and Thursday. I actually really enjoyed it because they weren't a part of my group. And that's what the best part about Family First Life is we're all on Sean Mike's team. It doesn't matter who brought you in, what brand you're under, it doesn't matter. We're all under the Family First Life umbrella. And so I look forward to those Mondays and Thursdays because I didn't communicate with those guys. I didn't see those guys in Slack. And so it was an opportunity for me to not only get better and to hear their word tracks, but to pick their brain apart. And you will earn someone's respect by consistently showing up. I promise you that. Because where most people will sell themselves short is if they have a bad week or a bad month, they quit showing up. I promise you, I'm only here today because I didn't quit. I quit all my life, guys, I promise you. Quit sports, quit school, the whole 9 yards. But I made a decision that I will not quit this business. And if you make that same decision, you can't fail here. You just gotta keep showing up. You gotta keep showing up Monday, Thursday. You gotta keep listening to the calls. There's literally 4 to 5 calls a week for you to get better. And there's some of you guys who are like, is there a recording for it? Acting like you're gonna listen to it. You're not even gonna listen to it. So why don't just make it as a can't miss opportunity to grow? They're consistently putting these out there for you to get better. And you're making a choice by not listening into it. You're making a choice by not plugging into it. You're making a choice not to get better. Like we're giving all these tools and resources and trainings for you to get better, and you're literally choosing not to because you're independent. Like there's no difference between me and you. I just didn't quit. I made decisions that I was gonna get better every single week. And I leveraged, I would say that's the best word, leveraged the resources and tools that are provided to us. This is a leveraging business. You don't need to know anything. This is a copycat business, to be quite honest with you guys. And so as far as structure goes, you need to structure your work and whatever your life is. And what I mean by that is that if you have a birthday party coming up, if you have a family vacation coming up, that means you need to plan accordingly with the proper structure. If you know you're going to Cancun in 2 months, you probably need to prepare so then you don't take a step back. Because you're never staying the same. You're either going back or you're going forward. It's a lot easier to always go forward than to go back and then take another step just to go back where you were and then take another step to get forward. You're literally one step behind. So having the structure of your life and your business, and you're gonna be very unbalanced. I get, how do you balance work life? There is no balance when you first start this business. It's literally very uncomfortable. It's very unbalanced. You're learning a skill set to print you money. That's how you should look at this. Like how unbalanced would you go to know that you learn a skill set that will last you forever? Like how long would you stay unbalanced? But a month or two in, it's just like, man, this is a lot. Well, you can go back to building someone else's dreams, or you can be unbalanced and build your own dreams. Because that's what this is, I promise you. But having the proper structure in this business and scheduling will take you to the next level, will take you to where you wanna go. And then surrounding yourself with others that wanna get you to that level. My business changed when I got out the office and I quit only talking to Jordan Lowry. I love Jordan, he's an awesome dude, high energy, but the dude didn't sell life insurance at a high level. So how was I gonna be able to sell life insurance at a high level if he never did? And so I realized that I was only getting his perspective. I realized I was only getting his opinion. And then all of a sudden I started getting Rob's perspective. I started getting his opinion. All of a sudden I started getting Jesse's perspective. I started getting his opinion. And I was getting 3 to 4 different perspectives and opinions and then making it my own. And so if you're only communicating with the person who brought you in this business, you're only gonna be as good as that person who brought you in this business. And there's a lot of good people who are bringing people in the business, but they only have one perspective. Get multiple perspectives, because what someone says about door knocking here may not resonate, but how he talks about door knocking does resonate for you. So that would be my key point to you guys, is find 2 people as your running mates, your competitors, people who you are trying to push and pull you up to where you want to go. And then find 2 mentors in this business that aren't the person that brought you in this business. You need another perspective on someone succeeding at a high level. You need another opinion on someone, selling at a high level. So find 4 people to put in your network that you're talking to on a weekly basis. Your 2 running mates, your 2 competitors are your accountability partners. Hey man, call me out if I'm not doing what it takes. When I got in this business, I had this agent that used to literally, we held each other accountable. She's like, Gage, it's 7:30, why aren't you door knocking? Like, that pushed me. But most people don't get that extra push, especially coming from someone who's in the same, level with them as far as producing or trying to get to where they want to go. That accountability buddy goes very, very far in this business. And then find 2 mentors. There's so many people out here who have aspirations of growing a big team. They just don't have the agents to pour into. So you're never bothering somebody. I used to always think like, man, they're busy. I hear it all the time now. You're busy, man. I just didn't want to bother you. I do this 24/7. I do run an agency with 150 agents. You do know that, right? Like, I do this all the time. I have enough time for you no matter what, if you're putting in the effort and the work. Like, I'm not gonna take your phone call if you're not actually applying the things that we're telling you to do. But what I'm getting after with this, guys, is if you get over that mental barrier of saying they're too busy or they don't know me, I promise you on the other side, they'll get back to you. And then you start to build up your network of people here. And then all of a sudden you can call up Brandon Kitchens and say, hey man, I had this happen to me, what would you have done differently? Or what are you doing that got your agency doing so well? And you get these different people in these different parts of Family First Life that are literally your partner now because you reached out to them for help. Like, be humble enough to ask for help. And on the other side of that barrier of you telling yourself that they're too busy is success and the perspectives and the ideas for you to take your business to the next level. So I hope you guys learned something today. I got my man Paul Seguin coming up to talk about recruiting today. But I promise you, if you apply these different things I'm telling you, you can take your business to the next level, because I'm nothing special and I just kept showing up and I kept being vulnerable and asking for help. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day.